Hi, and thank you for viewing our demo today. In this demo, I'm going to provide you with a high-level overview of the features of the EntryLogic solution and discuss how it's helped many organizations improve their lobby operations. Before I walk through the application, I just wanted to provide you some additional information on who EntryLogic is and how it could benefit any work environment. EntryLogic is a cloud-based visitor management solution that's designed to increase the security and efficiency of managing visitors in any work environment. There's several ways it could help an organization. One is to provide a professional, streamlined visitor experience in your lobby. Two, increase building security, thus protecting the safety and the well-being of everyone present, most importantly your employees. Deliver cost and time-saving efficiencies for your lobby operation. Provide complete visibility and control across multiple access points and locations, all within a single dashboard. And then provide complete access to detailed reporting, which is helpful in responding to compliance audits or to meet regulatory compliance. Before I share the application, I wanted to cover some of the key features of the application. First, one of our key differentiators as a visitor management solution is complete flexibility. We offer a variety of plug-and-play hardware options, from tablets to badge printers to ID scanners, that allow users to configure the system to support basically any environment. Whether you're using kiosks or our self-check-in options or the web application for an assisted check-in, EntryLogic offers a variety of different secure and efficient check-in processes, again, to support any work environment or any preference in terms of how you're managing visitors. The system does support multiple access points and multiple locations. So if you're an organization with multiple locations, all of that information and control is consolidated in one visitor experience and one dashboard. This gives you the most control and also a consistent visitor process throughout your entire organization. We also offer a business plan for multi-tenant operations. So if you're a property management organization managing a building with multiple tenants, this system, EntryLogic, is designed to give the lobby management team complete visibility and control across the entire facility. Yet each tenant has the ability to create their own visitor flow and have access to their own reporting. So it's a real versatile system to support a multi-tenant environment. So before I go into the application, I wanted to just cover a couple of the key features of the EntryLogic application. As I mentioned, we support an assisted check-in where a receptionist or lobbyist associate can check in people throughout our web application. We have self-check-in through kiosks. In addition, we also offer contactless entry. So from the kiosks, visitors can scan the QR code, and it enables them to complete the entire registration process directly from their device without having to touch the tablet. The EntryLogic system also has the ability for hosts to pre-register guests. So hosts can input information directly into the EntryLogic system that creates an invitation. That invitation is sent to the visitors prior to their arrival that will contain all of the relevant information for their visit, the date, time, and host and location, as well as a QR code. That QR code can be scanned on the tablets upon their arrival, which will greatly streamline the sign-in process. From an efficiency standpoint, the system, once a visitor arrives, the system will send real-time notifications directly to the selected hosts. This eliminates the need for the lobby attendant or receptionist to call and search for hosts to let them know that their visitors have arrived. It also provides the highest level of security. So at all times, everyone's presence is known within the organization or within the building. Visitor agreements. EntryLogic has the ability to include a visitor agreement during the registration process. So all visitors are presented, whether it be an NDA, a privacy policy, code of conduct, any other visitor terms that might be required for your facility or to meet regulatory compliance can now be consistently presented to all of your guests, and their acknowledgement of that visitor agreement can be recorded as well. Emergency and evacuation management. In terms of being prepared for emergencies, one of the key things to have a successful response to an emergency and an orderly evacuation if required is to be able to identify everyone that's present and provide consistent and quick information, concise information to everyone that's present. So EntryLogic has a visitor an emergency management system where it allows you to identify at a glance how many people are present within your building, be able to create a message that's instantly disseminated both through email and through SMS messaging. This way you know everyone has received the same information and it's a much more orderly response to a building emergency. And then a detailed list is available that can be provided for either roll call or provided to first responders if needed. Restricted visitors. EntryLogic also has the ability to create, the users can create lists of people that you want to put on a watch list that you do not want to provide access to your building without some type of intervention with an admin. So watch lists during the visitor sign-in process, it does a lookup to this table and will prevent them from being able to sign in on the self-kiosks and will need to seek assistance to check into your facility. EntryLogic also retains all the detailed history for all of the activity within your facility. From their reporting module, you can graphically display either activity during a day, week, month, or a specific period that you define. You could view that information by hour, by day, by week, depending on their search preferences. It gives you a quick visual as to whether there's busy times during the day that perhaps you need to address staffing to support a higher level of security or efficiency, or different days of the week that might be higher trafficked. You also have the ability to filter, so you could filter out by location. If you're a multi-tenant facility, by tenant. You could filter out by host. You could filter out by visitor, so if you have to do any type of contact tracing, you can quickly get to that information and reporting that you need for that type of analysis or for regulatory audits. All of that information could be exported and then provided to third parties for audit compliance. The EntryLogic employee management system allows you to, again, like a visitor log, you have an employee log. The receptionist can quickly see who's present and who's not present or who's expected to be in your facility at a very quick glance. All employees are issued a digital ID. That digital ID could be stored on their mobile device wallets and used on the kiosks when they enter or depart the facility. Much safer than a key fob. If a key fob gets lost, that time between the time it's lost and it's deactivated, obviously there could be security breaches. This allows you to quickly switch and update the QR codes to provide the most safety for your environment. From now, we're going to move on to the web application. Okay, now we're going to walk through the web application. The web application can be accessed by any browser, so you just log into the application itself. Obviously, all password protected. This is where all of the settings and configurations are done for the EntryLogic application. We'll get into more of what those options are as we go through this demo. This is what you're looking at here is the visitor log. This is where most of your lobby attendants and administrators would spend their time. This is the area within the application that provides real-time visibility to all activity, visitor activity that's happening in your facility or across your facilities at any given time. So what we're looking at here is the visitor log, and what the admin staff can see is who's currently signed in, so who's present in your building, who was in and has signed out since the day started. So this information could be looked at on a daily basis as well. And then what you see here at the bottom is invited. So this is, as I mentioned earlier, hosts have the ability to invite visitors or guests. That invitation includes the QR code. And that QR code is sent to them, and when they arrive, they scan that QR code on the tablet, and then they'll move into a signed-in status. So what you see here is one that's expired. This person was invited and was expected to arrive at 8 a.m. After 60 minutes, that invitation will become invalid and move to an expired state. That QR code will no longer work within the system. If they do arrive after, they would then need to sign in as a new visitor. For security purposes, that QR code could not is made invalid. So it gives you complete visibility again to who's expected to arrive, who's present, and then who has come and gone. And like visitors, you have the same access to employees. So admins can instantly look at who's present, who is expected to arrive. This provides a lot of efficiency for the lobby staff. So if somebody unexpected comes in and asks for an individual, you know if that person is present or not. In a situation where there might be a building emergency, and having complete attendance information of who's present, having the employee log and the visitor log collectively gives you that insight. So it allows you to be best prepared. So I'm going to go back to the visitor log. The visitor log is where the lobby administration staff also has the ability to provide assistance and assisted sign-in. So I'm going to click on this new visitor form, and this basically is the first step in welcoming a new visitor. If they could sign in on the tablets or the self-check-in, they'll automatically appear on the log. So this is for assisted sign-in for those that want to use the reception desk as the sign-in point. Or access point. And you can use a variety of both. You're not limited to one or the other. You could set up multiple access points. Some could be attended, some could be unattended. What's great about the EntryLogic system is that flexibility is yours. You have the ability to design it the way you'd like to. So so you'll see locations here. So as a master admin of multiple locations, I would have the ability to sign in a specific location. If I was the location admin for Philadelphia, I would only see the Philadelphia as an option. I wouldn't see the others. And if this was a multi-tenant location, it would be the tenant's name for that single location. So we're going to select Philadelphia. Then you select the host. So the host is populated based on all of the employees that are assigned to that particular location. And then you select reason for visit. So you have a variety of selections here. And whether it's an interview candidate, meeting, or a contractor, someone performing vendor services like a cleaning service or a beverage service, whatever it might be, you could select that, and that's a reportable element when we get into the reporting side of things. And then you fill out their contact information, and then from here you have a few options. You can, if you're using our optional ID card scanner, you could scan their driver's license. It'll capture their first and last name, so that's one less data input that you have. It also provides a higher level of safety. So if you're requiring people to provide their driver's license for identification purposes, you could do that, scan that, and it will populate this information. Same thing with business cards, and there you can capture company, email, phone number, etc. You can, if you have multiple people visiting the same host from, say the same company, you could add a visitor. So you can just put in the host selection once, put in visitor one's information, select visitor two, visitor three, etc. And then from here you sign them in, and then the next steps would take you through photo capture. So if you are doing assisted sign-in with a connected webcam, you can capture the individual's photos. You could also acknowledge acceptance of visitor terms, health screening, etc. is all done on the next stage before signing them in. Or you can invite them. So this is where a host would go in and select the date, the time that they're expected, any other details. If it's a recurring meeting, if it's, say, an auditor that's going to be there several days during a single week, you could set those parameters and they will receive an invitation that's valid for that particular time, that QR code. So all of that is done from the web application from this screen here. I'm going to move on to the reporting tab, and here's a lot of functionality. So from a reporting perspective, you have a graphical way of looking at information as well as a detailed way with the data itself. So you could look at by day, by last week, last month, last year. You could also set specific time parameters if you're looking for information within a certain set of dates. You could select by hour, day, week, monthly, and the system has intelligence behind it. So if you're selecting today, the only option that's going to be available in terms of sorting that information would be by hour. If you looked at it on a year or monthly basis, obviously hours, days, weeks, and in the case of annual, monthly would apply. So you have the ability to look at that information in different ways. So if you're analyzing busy hours during the day or busy days during the week, if you want to make staffing adjustments to improve the flow of visitors, or if you want to improve security, whatever analytics can tell you or what you're looking for. Having historical data at your fingertips gives you data points to make some informed decisions. You could then filter information. So we're in a multi-location instance here, so I have the ability to select either all or information for a particular location. I can then sort by employee, I could sort by visitor and visitor company. So if I want to find specific information for a particular, say I have to do contact tracing for some reason or another, I can get that information pretty quickly. If it's for compliance reporting and I need to prove that everyone that's come into a particular employee or to see a certain area, I would have the ability to extract that information, filter it, and then from there I could export either summary level detail or very specific detail as to reason of visit, time in, time out, duration of time. So on the compliance and regulatory side, there are some requirements. Something like CTPAT, you need to maintain legible records for 2 years and capture that information. Same thing for like SOC compliance or PCI, you need to account for everyone that's has access to that protected data or information. And by audit, you need to reproduce those logs. So having that information captured across all locations and instantly through a visitor management system provides the most efficiency for that. And it's protected. It's in the cloud. So it's no longer storing records and hoping that you can spend some time pulling that information together. Everything is instantly accessible. I'm going to click down to the bottom here. I talked earlier about emergency management, and your organization's ability to respond to emergencies is critical. And one of the most critical elements, or several of the critical elements to that, is one, who's present. Can I quickly see how many people are present within my organization? And from here, you can see visitors and employee count instantly. If you have a message that you need to send to one cohort or the other, you can make that selection. If you just needed to go to employees, you could deselect visitors and vice versa. Here's where, if there's a stay in place, if there's a weather system that's coming that's impacting certain people, if there's a fire in the building, a chemical spill in the facility, whatever it might be, anytime that you need an organized response and getting information to people very quickly and concisely for that organized response, EntryLogic's visitor management system enables you to do that. So you could select your cohorts, put in the information that's relevant for that particular emergency and instructions. So everyone will receive that via email as well as SMS, so instantly. And again, having that information instantly in their hands is giving you the best opportunity for that orderly response. And from there, you have complete detailed history. So all of the information by incident is captured. You're able to download this information that will include everyone's information, contact information that was present, what the nature of the emergency was, and then who sent that information. And this information is very valuable for roll call situations. If there's say a chemical spill in a manufacturing facility or whatever it is, where you need to account for everyone's safety, having an organized list for roll call is critical. And it's also useful, in an unfortunate circumstance, if we need to involve first responders. It's critical that you can articulate who is present and provide that detail. So having a list like this accessible for anything that might come your direction unexpectedly in your facility is very valuable for being prepared for an emergency. From here, I'm going to roll into settings and just give you an idea of some of the capabilities from a configuration standpoint. This area here is where you're setting up your company. If you're adding locations or tenants, tenants would be an option here. You're adding administrators and assigning that responsibility for those. You're uploading employees, so all of your employee databases will be present here. Contact information, departments, locations, etc. All of that information is accessible here, and obviously feeds the host lists within the visitor log. You're assigning roles and permissions and this provides different levels of access. And this is defining notifications. You could assign assistants. You could have security be notified every time someone's present, or specific, or an assistant. If you have an administrative assistant and you want to make sure that they're aware that someone has arrived for a meeting, you're able to assign those assistants and then set up certain notification preferences. The visitor area is really where you customize the visitor experience. So not every facility is different or the same. Some may not be concerned about company. In an academic setting, it could be more about just your name and contact information and less about the company. Some want full information. So the selections that you make here will then be the information that's collected from the visitor during the visitor flows. So if you eliminate company and photo, those steps and that data point will no longer be requested during the sign-in process. I mentioned earlier the visitor agreement, and this is where that's managed. So you're able to upload and edit your visitor agreements, whatever they might be. They could be right of treatment, they could be privacy statements, they could be vendor compliance information. A lot of the regulatory compliances require you to have a consistent record of either privacy policies, NDAs, whatever it might be, and being able to track that consistently and manage both updates and renewals for those agreements is critical. So you have the ability to upload that agreement, capture the visitor's acknowledgement, which is then part of their visitor record, and then you could set settings to require people to re-sign it if the document was updated, or if you want to set certain expiration parameters to it. When that person arrives, if they arrive before the expiration date, they will no longer be presented that because it will do a lookup and know it's present. If it goes beyond the expiration date, they'll be requested to re-acknowledge it. Kiosk settings, this is where you're doing all of your personalization, so adding welcome messages, logos, language selections, etc. This is health screening. We're currently in beta for this, but this basically will embed a health screening process during your sign-in flow. So you have the ability to create your own questions if you have specific needs to protect the health and well-being of your employees. You could ask those questions, you can assign allowable answers, and basically what you're doing is controlling self-access in this situation. So you can make somebody, you can completely deny access or path somebody to an admin or a lobby assistant to provide deeper screening, and then access could be determined at that point. So that information is configured here and then enabled and presented on during the sign-in flows. Watch list, I mentioned this earlier in the slide deck. This is where you're adding people that you want to put on a watch list. You don't want them in your facility. It could be disgruntled employees. It could be for whatever reason. Basically, what happens is during a sign-in process, there's a lookup to this table, and if there's someone that appears on this list, it would block them from self sign-in, but it would require admin access or override it to allow them in if they deemed it's permissible. We talked a lot about visitor and employee information and reporting across multiple locations and access points. You have that same control and visibility for all of the devices that are connected. So again, if you're running a facility and you're enabling multiple access points, you have complete visibility to what's configured, where are the tablets, what's connected, are they online or offline? So if something is to go offline unexpectedly, you have instant information visibility to where that tablet is offline, so you can tend to it to make sure it's back online. If there's a badge printer attached to it, if it's connected, if there's any issues with it, same thing if you're using the optional scanners, you have complete visibility across multiple access points, locations, as to the status of all of your devices. From here, you also have access to subscription and billing information. You could add locations, you could add tenants, update payments, etc. All of that's accessible there. And you're one click away from the EntryLogic store. So if you have an area that you need replenishable labels, you're one click away. If you want to add additional printers or scanners to your operation, that information is one click away. That brings you right to the EntryLogic store. So that covers most of the functionality of the product. And again, there's a lot to this that could be configured for specific instances or specific environments. And our team of product support staff would be more than happy to walk through your special needs and make recommendations in terms of how to best configure EntryLogic and how to complement it with our plug-and-play hardware options to provide you really the most optimized experience in terms of getting the best and the highest level of security, efficiency, and putting, if you are operating in a regulated industry, obviously making sure you have the right tools to meet those requirements as well. So we're happy to assist, and you could reach any of our staff accessing either through our website. There's a chat, there's phone numbers, you could schedule demos, etc. So thank you again for tuning in to this demo, and again, we're delighted to help you and make recommendations on meeting your security needs.